What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, my friends, and let's get into it. So here we are sitting at about $96,000, 95.9K right now. Looking at this on a monthly basis, we do have lower highs on the month-to-month here with higher highs in the price. That is bearish divergence. Normally bearish divergences are, where they're formed. You come back and you pull back to where they're formed, and then you can move up again. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, I just want to address that because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are probably addressing this across the space. Bearish divergence is only there when you actually have the month close. We have 8 days, 20 hours left. Bitcoin's only down 0.6% right now. As long as this month closes green, it's not actually bearish divergence. So I think it will close green. Historically speaking, every December that's happened for Bitcoin that's been in a bull cycle, let alone in an election year, every December that we've had, it closes with a predominant body to the upside, not a wick, which tells me that the end of the month tends to be very bullish, right? And we see that because the end of the month of a lot of these Decembers, again, it'll have a body, right? Just like this one, it'll be a body, no wick. And then we go into January green too. So we finish December bullish, and we even go into January carrying that out as well. That was last cycle at the year of 2020. Go to 2016, that December, same thing, right? Big body, and you wicked up in January, continuing into January, then you sold off, right? And it's same thing in the last cycle before that even. So I would expect that this next 8 days and 20 hours does take us to new all-time highs, right? Our current all-time high is at 108K, at least on this chart, the all-time history index. On a weekly basis, we are finally, right, building volume. We were losing volume here, and then we're building volume as we're coming out of this, so that's nice. It definitely looks productive. We're losing volume as we're consolidating. Love to see that. Looking at a daily basis as well, RSI getting lower lows in the RSI continuously, right? Day after day, week after week, getting lower lows in the RSI. We're finding higher lows in the price, lower lows in the RSI. That's pretty damn bullish. To be completely fair, we do have a lower low here to here, and that is a lower low there to there, but whatever. I think it looks fine overall. Bouncing off the 40 area, an area that we found support on before. Bitcoin does like to find support at this area from time to time. We look at the 4-hour time frame. Pretty neutral, kind of bearish, I would say, actually more so. But let's just see what we can do with that. I have a feeling that that was the low. That was the next higher low for Bitcoin. Here was our actual low, right? Down there at about 92K. I don't think it'd go any lower than that, right? I think that was our next low, and we probably do move higher from here. High to low, all the way down to the 786. You guys, mark my words. Bitcoin will today close above 100K. It'll be probably dramatically higher than it is now. It's at 95. I say dramatically higher. It's at about 96K now. 100K isn't that dramatically higher, but at least 100K, if not more, I think would be the expectation for today. Because whenever you have these moves that just pull right to their 786 nonstop, you get an immaculate bounce, a very immaculate short-term bounce. Being that this is on the 4-hour, I think by the end of today, being that it's the beginning of a new day, I think asking for an immaculate bounce by the end of today is not too much. It's the beginning of a new week. It is Monday, the beginning of a new week. I full-heartedly do expect that this week will close very well in the green, and probably, we have a solid chance of closing at new all-time highs by the end of this week. By the end of this week, you guys, Bitcoin genuinely could be at prices as high as 110K, as high as 120K. That could all happen this week. And if it's not this week, I would expect by the end of the month, we're at least making strides toward those areas, right? So bullish times ahead, guys. I think it starts now. I really think it starts now today. It is Monday. And maybe not right now, this hour, but 24 hours from now, 12 hours from now, within the next 36 to 48 hours, we're going to be back above 100K, and that might be the last time we ever go below 100K, guys. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I think this next attempt up, right, here was our low, here's where we went, here's our next high, and then we went right down there that same day. And then from that low, we went all the way up here. Here's our next high. And then we went all the way down here, right? So we've each time we've been in this area, we've just committed higher highs. I would expect our next high takes us at least above 110K, but the real target would be 123K. Because if we take this high to low, is it this high to low? That's actually 128K. I think it's this high to low here. Yeah, the 2272 is our next target, 123. And this is the more relative fib, that's why I'm using that. But seeing that this more macro fib, the 1414 is at 128, I like that. That's just congruence. We like that. So I very much do expect that we see a very immaculate move that takes us up here soon. And I forget what I was going to say after that, but I'm running out of steam. Volume's dying off, right? We look at Bitcoin for what it is. This is a consolidation phase overall, right? Higher lows, higher highs, but it is a consolidation phase. Since this consolidation phase began, we've been losing volume. Normally, once you're at the lowest points of volume, which for the last 2 days we've had very low volume, that's when you're at the end of this consolidation and you start to see things break out. We're at the beginning of a new week. It is Christmas week. We see Bitcoin normally pumping. I mean, let's end the video with that. Let's go to every Christmas week that we've had in a election cycle bull market December, which every election cycle that we've had since Bitcoin existed has been a bull cycle. So going to, I mean, hell, even last December 2023 Christmas week here would have been this week. Okay, that week was actually red, to be fair, but it wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't election year. So definitely bull cycle, but we also hadn't been consolidating as long as we've been consolidating now. Almost as long, but not quite as long. But going back to the 2020 December, which is cyclically similar to what we're in now. This week was December 21st, the beginning of that day there, the beginning of that week there. That was Christmas week, up 11%. The next week, the following week, to end December, we moved up 26%. And then to open up January, the first week of January, we moved up another 15%. So very bullish, double-digit weeks, back to back to back. Go to the 2016 year. That was our election year before 2020, right? Christmas week here, the 19th was the beginning, 26th, so that's literally the day after Christmas. So here you moved up 13%, the following week you moved up 11%, and then the next week you closed 8% down, but before you closed 8% down, you moved up 16 more percent. So again, back-to-back weeks, moving up double digits week after week there, starting with Christmas week, right? You kind of moved up slowly, but then Christmas week hit, and that's when you really started to take off again on the election year. We go back even further to 2012. 2012 might be a bit different because we had the halving happen. The very first Bitcoin halving happened this week. So this December, it's kind of a bit of a dud. We were moving sideways, but not shortly after we had a very immaculate run up. So all I'm trying to say is if it isn't now, it's going to be very soon that we start seeing this move up. And I would expect, I mean, let's just go double digits for 3 weeks because that's what we saw, right? Let's just do that, double digits for 3 weeks. So we closed here. Let's go to 10% this week. Okay, so that's 10%, double digits right there, okay? And really it was more like 13 to 19% or higher even on some weeks. But let's just do this. Double digits right there, 10%. And then we go from there again, one more, 10%. I mean, that puts us at 128K within the next 3 weeks, right? By like the beginning of January, right? So I'm absolutely astonishingly convinced, you guys, that by the end of January, we're either at like $130,000, if not as high as 142K. Because again, remember, this is just 3 weeks worth of growth compared to what we've seen in these exact same cyclical moments and phases in the bull cycles prior to this, right? This is just based off of that. And this is actually a low estimation too, because we've seen greater than 10% growth week after week after week, right? It was 3 weeks of growth every time. I want to say like the lowest that I saw was like 13% or something like that. I don't want to go back and measure it, right? I just want to end this video, but it's very clear to me that we're going to see these levels. I have no doubt in my head that Bitcoin absolutely will be above 123K over the next 3 weeks. We're at 95K now. And then by the end of January, I have a strong inclination to believe, and I think I'm the only person saying this on YouTube, that we'll be above 140K, probably around 142K by the end of January. It's the next targets, you guys, based off what we're doing on the fibs here, high to low. You broke above the golden ratio here, the 1.618. You broke above it. You broke right above it. Now you're finding support on it week after week for about a month. The next target from here absolutely is the 2272. You already hit the 1886. So the next target's the 2272. That's 123K. We've seen it where 3 weeks in a row, starting Christmas week for the last 3 election years, except for the very first one, which had the halving afterwards, right? But that's, again, I think that's kind of a one-off. The 2012 cycle is a bit of a one-off. But the last 2 election years, we've seen 3 weeks starting Christmas week of back-to-back double-digit growth, open to close. And if we saw that same thing at a minimum of 10% growth from here over the next 3 weeks, we would see 123K. We'd see 128K at a minimum, right? Let alone 142K. And that's just over 3 weeks. So I think I've made my point. I've repeated myself enough. I'm not going to say anything else. Thank you guys for coming here. I'll see you on the next one. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and bye.